All right, so welcome here to the Battlefield live stream. I'm Corey Dunn alongside Carl Magnus to kick things off here for the Battlefield 4. We're in pre-alpha. It's the early stages, but we're going to get the chance to be able to check out the multiplayer right here at E3. So again, Carl Magnus, I'm glad that you're here. I get the chance to kind of talk to you. You're out there for the EA press conference. Yeah. You were there. You're the commander mode. We'll get into detail about that. But tell a little bit for those that don't know. But I'm pretty sure a majority of those out there know.
Well, I mean, we're here today showing off a 64-player playtest of Battlefield 4. We're showing it live here on the floor, which is very important for us. It's live software, so people can come in and play it. We did get some feedback from the press conference that people thought that it wasn't live, but yes, it was live.
Oh, no, it was.
It was really live, and actually me on stage with the Commander on tablet, that was also live.
That's a gutsy move. You're taking a chance there. I mean, especially in these early stages. When the fact is, whenever you brought out the tablet, I saw that. This is the first time. We'll go and go down this avenue already. And we're talking about the commander mode that we're going to see. We saw it in BF2. It's a little bit different in Battlefield 4. Let's kind of dive into it a little bit more. Tell me about, we're seeing here with the multiplayer, it's 32 versus 32. Does the commander take up one of those spots or no?
No, that was one of the things that we wanted to change. So you actually have a 64-player match ongoing, but the two commanders are two additional slots outside of that. So one of the big differences in Commander mode compared to BF2 is that the Commander does not have a physical presence on the battlefield.
So a physical presence, you mean that there's no capability of actually destroying them on the map?
No, you cannot find him and knife in the back. It was one of the things that were very frustrating for the commanders in BF2. You have to run somewhere and hide in the grass or somebody, and then usually the Spec Ops guy come and find them and just knife them. So now what we want to do with Commander mode is to enhance the team play that we have, of course. So we want to get that eye in the sky kind of guy that can help turn the tide of the battle with both the information, the information warfare, what's going on, and then relay that to the squads that you have on the battlefield. But also taking direct action with vehicle drops or dropping in the offensive capabilities of missiles, etc. And one of the big changes this time around as well is that those different assets that the commander has available are tied to different points on the map. Not all of them, but several of them. So, for instance, if you capture point B here on this map, Siege of Shanghai, that's when the commander actually get the Tomahawk. The Tomahawk coming in, for instance.
I'm looking, and it's one of the things that I'm definitely going to look forward to seeing, the fact that you can take over. I think it's B, C, and D, and they all give you different variations of offensive attacks that the commander has. So what we saw there during the press conference was the usage of a tablet. Is it just as easy whenever you hop onto a PC? Is it it's pretty much identical, other than the fact that you have a touch interface opposed to a keyboard and mouse?
Yeah, it's pretty similar. You have some, on the PC you will have a bit more information. You can get live feeds for your squad, etc. You won't get that on the tablet as it is now, at least, because of bandwidth, etc. But it will be very, very similar. So I expect that a lot of people can just sit on the bus and actually take part of this as well. Play with an actual ongoing server, etc. But I also see that we probably get players playing even more tactical, where perhaps they get together, they're sitting together, and they actually have the commander behind them playing as well, to get even more of the information flowing.
So you're bringing up a pretty interesting point whenever you talk about someone having a tablet, walking behind their team. Say we have a 5 versus 5 gaming going on, kind of a squad battle. They sit there and pull out the tablet and walking back and forth as a coach role. If you don't know, I come from a esports or a competitive gaming scene, and that's one of the things that you brought that to my attention. My ears perked up, and I was ready to listen to some more. So some of the other things that the commander has to offer that we'll talk about throughout this week here at E3 is the fact that it has offensive attacks, also has your UAV scans, your ability to get intel, and then also to be able to get any drops that are happening there. So that's pretty much all the different things that you see from the commander mode. We'll definitely dive into deep with all the different elements. But something that's really great that I also noticed during the press conference was the Levolution and all the different things. I mean, so a lot of people at home already right now think that Levolution is that big skyscraper coming down. You're going to get the chance to see it again. Don't worry, it's going to happen time and time again. Probably going to be the first thing that happens. And we'll go into detail exactly what happens during that moment. But get into detail for me what really is Levolution, because there's a lot more to it than just a building falling down.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Levolution to us, it's a concept. It's not one feature. It's a concept of what's going on, and the concept surrounds the dynamic battlefield, and destruction is part of that, definitely on all levels. You know, the micro destruction ranging up to the big destruction, and even up to the skyscraper. Yes, but Levolution is so much more. It's about the dynamic battlefield and how it changes. Anything from that you now can use elevators to that you can raise bollards out of the ground when you press a button to how you can just change what's going on. So there's a lot of things happening in the concept of Levolution, and we believe that some of these things are easier to communicate when you see it, like a skyscraper coming down.
You'll see it.
Some of it you probably have to play to get the feel for what's actually happening on the battlefield, but it's definitely something that surrounds everything in the multiplayer nowadays.
I think it's one of the great things. I mean, you brought up to the attention is the bollards. For those of you who are not really formally get the fact of you got to pull out your dictionary to find out what bollard is. You'll get the chance to see it. They're actually, I took a picture of it here in LA. They're bollards that are blocking for E3, so they're blocking the streets.
Yep.
So I kind of got a Battlefield 4 taste whenever I was strolling through LA. But you'll see it. You'll get the chance to see in game. There's a red and a green side. The green side, it actually retracts back into the ground and allows any type of vehicles to be able to pass back through. The red side, no tanks can go through that. So we'll see that in the multiplayer throughout this week. And also some of the other great things, you'll see fire extinguishers giving a smoke screen temporarily. So these are all different types of elements that we'll see in Levolution. I'm looking forward to some great stuff.
Yeah, but a lot of it has to do as well with player presence. So for instance, when you're going into a building, if you run through the perhaps the metal detector there, it might go off.
Ooh.
So things like that can actually, you have to think when you move on the battlefield, because that alerts your presence to the people surrounding it.
You brought up a really, really good point that I think a lot of gamers kind of overlook at times. I mean, audio is so superior out there, and one of the things that I know you're right here with me, I got to give you some praise. You give your team some praise, especially with Frostbite 3 engine coming out here and making a pretty big presence with Battlefield 4. But the audio, the high fidelity of the audio is unreal in Battlefield 3. How does it come out in Battlefield 4? Is it even better?
Well, I mean, we have that as an ongoing focus, and the audio team we have back home is probably the best in the world. At least I would say that.
It came from me, I'll say it.
And they are really spending a lot of time with attention to details for everything. Just, from how does it feel when you fire the gun, to the environments, to these kind of things, like how does it you communicate through sound, indirectly, I would say, just by hearing what's going on the battlefield. And this is really, really important. So people should expect that the sound will take another leap forward now with Battlefield 4, of course.
Those are just the great elements to look at. I mean, you're looking at all, how it looks visually, how does the audio sound. I mean, you're getting directional information coming from the game. So one of the last things that I kind of want to dive into, we saw the little video clips there on youtube.com/Battlefield. We saw the helicopter blade spinning for those 4 seconds. We had the chance to see the tank rolling, but then we saw some sea battles. The thing from Battlefield 3, I'm going to be honest with you, I think the community kind of agrees with me a little bit. Whenever I'm strolling around in a boat, I feel completely vulnerable out there in the open. I mean, it doesn't matter if there's a tank shooting at me, even a sniper in the distance can pick me off. I've got no way to defend myself. How does that change in Battlefield 4?
Well, the amphibious assault that we now have in the game as well, you will see different vehicles. I mean, we have like the jet ski, for instance, which is very
awesome.
fast, but you have to move very quickly because you have no offensive capabilities. But then you have other, like the patrol boats, for instance. These are more, you have some offensive capabilities with the cannon they have mounted on it. I even believe that you have some TOWs, guided missiles on them, etc. So you can do some damage there, definitely. So it depends on how you use them and what kind of vehicles you choose, of course.
I think one of the great things, I've already had the chance to play a little bit. You can be a little bit jealous out there, but you're going to get the chance to see some great gameplay throughout the whole week with multiplayer. 32 versus 32. We're going all out. We're going to have 2 commanders, one for both teams. So again, like what you mentioned, the fact that these amphibious vehicles, they have the ability to eject out with a jet ski. One of the other cool things too is watching what you can do as just an infantryman in the sea as well. You can dive down deep into the water. You can sprint in the water, or however you want to say that. You can swim faster.
We call it sprint swim.
It's sprint swim. So there we go. All right, the technical term right there. So I think that covers for a great bit of it. I mean, is there any other input that you want to bring out there?
No, well, you just touch upon the infantry experience. We have done quite a bit there. You mentioned the swimming, the sprint swim as well, but we have some other things as well. Like we've changed the suppress system. You know, we got a lot of feedback on
into
suppress.
detail now.
Yeah, details. But for instance, so suppress is now something that is more focused on the support class with the LMGs, etc. Which I think is what a lot of people out there really wanted to see. It's not so present in the actual close quarter combat. It's more on the range combat. Things like you also have, if you're behind cover and you go scoped, you will actually have an automatic lean over feature. So if you're sitting in cover and you're going scoped, then your character will go like whoop and look up.
That's greatness.
So yeah, and these things will, you know, hopefully people will like them. Otherwise, we have to do something about it, of course. But there's a lot of things changing there as well.
All right, so I've got one last thing to bring up. I mean, you were talking about the infantry. This is probably one of the coolest features that I think that was added into Battlefield 4.
I know what you're going to say.
All right, you go ahead and take it away. I don't. This is your prestige moment to talk about it.
It's got to be the counter melee, all right?
The counter melee?
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of them.
Okay.
I've got my big thing is I love the scopes.
Yeah.
I love the optical there in Battlefield and being able to sit there and just have a great view. But one of the things is my FOV, my field of view, is completely messed up whenever I have any close quarter combat. And so going canted, that's something else.
Yeah, that's going to be good. I think that's going to add a lot of combinations that people can use their guns. You know, you can add the what do you call it, the zoom just on the top of your ordinary sight, and then have the canted as well. So there's a lot of opportunity for people to just customize their through the gun experience, that we like to call it.
So go into detail about some of the countermeasures that you can go whenever there's any type of melee combat.
Well, I mean, we thought about the whole melee, and just grabbing people's dog tags is something that was very, very popular in BF3. But we also thought that we need to do something so you actually can counter it as well, if you are, you know, really aware of what's going on the battlefield. So if you are really fast now and you see the opponent coming at you, you can actually counter the melee attack coming at you.
All right, so I'm going to have to get in detail with this. You can let me know if I'm going too far or anything. But so if there's a frontal attack that happens, then you can defend against it. But what happens if someone's right behind you and they're coming in for your dog tags?
Well, currently the design is that you can't counter that. So that's the current design that we have now. But I mean, we're not done with the game. We're still in play testing, etc. So we have to wait and see how this plays out and how people like to play with it.
So I know a lot of people already realize that if you're a part of the Battlefield community, you know that that this team is listening to everything that you have to say. I mean, make sure you check out the Facebook page. They're listening, I promise. Everyone out there is just here at Battlefield. They're doing a great job of hearing every bit of your input, every bit of your feedback. And I mean, the fact that you're talking about suppression, I didn't even have to bring up suppression. Carl Magnus brought that up for us. I mean, that right there just shows that you are listening to the community out there.
Yeah, we try our best. I mean, the community now is so big, which we are extremely grateful for, and they are very dedicated as well. So some people say that we're not listening, but yes, we are listening, but we can't answer everything. So if people just keep talking, and please talk as creative and constructive as you can, because there can be a lot of noise out there as well, but we are listening as much as we can. It's also, it actually goes through what DICE is. You know, we are, you know, a game developer, but we are extremely passionate about playing games ourselves. I mean, that's where Battlefield came from a long time ago by the founders of DICE. That they wanted to build a game that they wanted to play themselves. And it still is. I mean, you know, I still play a lot of the games, and everyone that works in the studio plays a lot of the Battlefield games, even, you know, after the game has been released. And it's something we're very passionate about.
All right, so I'm going to keep you around here a little bit longer because I just thought of one huge element that I don't know why I forgot it, but the spectating mode. Let's kind of talk a little bit. We'll scratch the surface. I know it's all in pre-alpha version. I mean, we're still going through the process. But some of the elements that I've already seen, when we see the tabletop, the first-person view, the third-person view, and even the ability to go for free cam, what are some other things that we're going to be able to look forward to? I mean, of course, I mean, the crowd out there guessed it. The community guessed it. I mean, once you started to mention that there was going to be some online multiplayer shown, they immediately was realized, well, they have to be showing some type of spectator mode. Can you get into detail a little bit about it?
Well, it's still early days for the spectator mode, but I mean, actually, this show, E3, is probably one of the first real big tests of it. So we're going to look for a lot of feedback, how people like it, don't like to use it, etc. Currently, we have our first implementation of it, but this is one of the first features that we, you know, loud and clear heard from the community, especially the competitive community, that we need in the game if they're going to be able to use it and just broadcast what's going on in the game. So I think people should take a look at what we have now and give us feedback as much as possible. We're of course going to collect what we feel after this event as well, but hopefully people will like it.
I appreciate it, Carl. I mean, it's been a pleasure talking with you. I mean, we heard the fact that you're talking about having the tablet walking behind your 5 players whenever they're in-game, communicating with them. We also heard about the spectator mode. I mean, you can tell that Battlefield is really trying to help and lean towards moving forward in the competitive scene.
It is important for us, and I know some people in the community say they don't trust that we are going to deliver some kind of a competitive support, etc. But we are dedicated to this. We want to give the players the support to play this game competitively. I mean, that's for one of the reasons why we now have 5-man squads instead of 4. That is because we want to be able to allow the usually the 5-man teams that are out there to play together as a squad. That's another change that we made specifically to help support competitive play.
I appreciate it, Carl. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Yep.
And we'll look forward to seeing you throughout the event, just talking with you, kind of picking your brain on all the different things that are happening within the Battlefield scene. It's a pleasure having you on here. Of course, for those of you that are watching, make sure you share it out there, hashtag BF3 or hashtag BF4. Wow, there's a lot of great things out there. So make sure you share it out there, talk to everyone, get this thing going out there. It was a pleasure, Carl. And we'll be back after the break with some multiplayer action. We'll get my good friend Alex Mendez to hop on here to shoutcast some games. We'll be back after the break.
Thank you. Sweet. Thank you.
How's it going, guys? Welcome to Battlefield 4 at E3 2013, and I am so excited for this one. My name is Alex Mendez, more commonly known as Golden Boy FTW. This fine gentleman right here, Corey Dunn, as you guys saw earlier. You had a great interview with Carl Magnus.
Awesome.
It looked awesome. I was super jealous sitting there in the sideline. I'm like, it's not fair. But no, but seriously though, I mean, what did we learn, I would say, from the genius behind Battlefield?
We learned so much, and I tried to do the best that I could to ask every question that I could think of that the scene would be asking. I mean, one of the things that, one, spectator mode is usually the question that you're trying to figure out whether or not it's going to be in the game. How are they going to support the competitive gaming scene? Next one would have to be about the suppressing fire. I didn't even have to bring up the fact that they were talking about suppression. That was always the thing that got brought up there that happened in Battlefield 3 was how is it really going to impact, and really what you heard there was from the support class with the LMG. I mean, so you got to saw all those different types of things that were happening throughout that process.
Yeah, I'm really excited for just, the scope of what Battlefield brings to the table here. You can even see the people. I had a chance to actually talk with a couple of the people and kind of like get their opinions on what they felt on the first game that we saw in the background, and they loved it. It was fun. They had the evolution of the skyscraper falling down, which was awesome. All the players really dug it, and I think that when you look at the grand scheme of things, the community is going to be very happy with the product that DICE is putting out there.
Well, so what we have here all E3 long is real gameplay coming from 32 versus 32, a 64-man server, 2 commanders that are going to be here. We're going to see a bunch of, this is raw, everything's raw here. None of these players have played the game before.
That's right.
We're going to be finding out exactly how to maneuver throughout the maps. We're probably going to see these guys come back time and time again. I had the chance to kind of play this game for a little bit. I loved it. I was only in the server by myself, and the map that we're going to get the chance to check out is going to be Siege on Shanghai. So we're going to go ahead and hop on here. And again, just go ahead and take a moment here. Let's digest exactly what we see here in the spectator mode. You can see that there's 4 different options that we can kind of scan through. You've got your tabletop view, which is your overview map. Kind of looks like commander mode. And also first-person view, which we're in right now. Third-person view, we can actually hop out of the helicopter and get that third-person view that you get whenever you're playing the game. And then also free cam as well. So again, we're getting all of these different types of elements. And you get the chance to see exactly what we have here. Again, we're looking at the map overall here on Siege of Shanghai. And it's a beautiful map. And I think it brings a lot of dimension into the game whenever you're talking about having to navigate a heli through this map.
Well, one of the awesome parts when we had a chance to speak with DICE a little while ago was they were very excited for the elements of land, sea, and air, right? And you're seeing it come out right here, right in front of your eyes. basically they're excited that this urban map, this urban environment implements, sea-based vehicles. Also the helicopters we see right here, that is pretty much just tearing things apart in my personal opinion. Alpha 4 and Alpha 11 are just doing work right now. But this is exactly what Battlefield is about. Only in Battlefield are you going to be able to get this kind of experience where you have just this mix of so many things going on at the same time, so many moving parts, yet it's just all awesome carnage, war at its finest. Now, what we are looking here, once again, helicopter shot. This pilot actually doing a pretty standout job maintaining position over at the D area. Now, let's actually break this down, Corey, because the territories actually have an impact on the commander mode. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we're just talking about some of the elements from commander mode is that you can take over B, C, and D, and right now, as you look at it, currently the U.S. have C and D. If you're holding down, we're again just talking about Seas of Shanghai. This does not necessarily mean that it goes across all of their maps. It gives them different types of perks, and those assets are actually directly correlating with each map. So for instance, and actually each position, whenever we're talking about some of these flag points. So for instance, the C flag point actually gives you the capability of having a gunship. The B point will allow you to sit there and have the Tomahawk, and I believe D may stand corrected, but it's a type of scan. I think it's an infantry scan.
And as you can see right in front of you guys, the skyscraper is going to be coming down. Levolution at its finest. And now this is really going to affect gameplay, folks, because this is going to, I guess you can block the vision of the pilots. So you can actually see all this dust coming up.
Right, you see all the debris that happens. Again, so one of the things that you're going to notice here, again, the C flag, the C point was up on top of the skyscraper. And after knocking out the 4 pillars, they're all pretty well identified. So for those of you that are kind of questioning what exactly it is, there's 4 pillars that are on the outside, kind of harbor side, that you can spot and you can take out pretty quickly there. And that's exactly what we saw there. You got knocked down the skyscraper, and then from that point, that actually shifted the C flag down towards the lower side. And right there, I mean, what we saw throughout the game, just some really great gameplay. Just in general, just watching how things kind of evolve. I mean, there's different dynamics that are coming to play. I mean, one, the skyscraper could have stayed up there the whole time. Me and my buddies, we would have had our squad. We would have been spawning up on top of C. We would have been picking people off. We'd have been having the commander, hey, check out this spot over there. Take that out with the Tomahawk, or bring out the gunship since we're holding down C anyway. I mean, all these different elements. But once you knock out the pillars, it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, that's right. Again, we saw it at the EA press conference, and it's more than just a buzzword. It is true to form. It is the levolution. It is the level itself, the map changing before your eyes, evolving. Just the form of combat that you have to engage. That is one of the interesting things, but it doesn't just affect the large scale stuff, right? Like we saw in the press conference, right, that there was a sequence where the players actually destroyed a pillar that allowed the floor to cave in, thus pretty much giving them the advantage to take out a tank.
Over there by the B flag over in Metro area, I mean, you were watching right off the start. If you hadn't had the chance to be able to check out that EA press conference, make sure you head over to youtube.com/Battlefield. There's actually a best moments from that video, and that was one of them. You're able to see one of the players there on the infantry side, our hero, if you will, spotted a tank, and then instantly one of the members there, one of the recon members, tossed it out of C4 over by the pillar that was right there by the street and blew it up and then took it out. It was game over from that point.
But the cool part is that it goes further than that, though. That's the cool part, right? So like it goes beyond just destroying a floor and the tank coming down. It's, you see the, I think you had mentioned it before, you see the fire extinguisher, shoot a fire extinguisher, smoke screen comes out, right? There was one sequence in the actual showing that they were in the metro station. There was these pillars there, these I guess walls, and you were able to actually shoot through the walls, and that was actually really cool as well, like how everything kind of just changes. You make your own cover. Those are the really cool things that you get only in Battlefield. But one thing that I am excited about seeing with a lot of these players, we saw it in the last game, we saw a lot of air combat, but I want to see some tank action I love me some tanks.
I'm still all about the helis right now. Watching how, I mean, I'm not a great pilot at all.
Yeah.
But watching the helis kind of navigate through those buildings is quite impressive. I mean, we get to see some really raw talent, some Matrix type stuff. We're just going to maneuvering through each of those buildings.
Actually, got to give that guy credit. He managed.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job.
He stayed in the helicopter for quite some time. So kudos to you, Alpha 4.
Alpha 4?
That was his name. It was like Alpha 4 and Alpha 11. They were like, they were the duo.
That gunner was pretty good, too.
Yeah, oh, no, without a doubt.
Laying down some gunfire.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, so we haven't seen, we're going to see, as time moves on, you know, some ground combat, infantry-based combat, of course. We're also going to see some sea-based combat, some naval combat. I'm really excited for that.
I still think one of the best things, I always remember in Battlefield 3, I mean, whenever I'm out there, I'm in a helicopter or a jet, and I fly out over the sea for a moment, I'm getting shot, and I'm one of the worst ones where I just pop out anyway, and then I realize, why did I jump out? Now I'm in the sea for the next 20 minutes just swimming.
Swimming through.
And then finally I ended up going, man, I'm done with this. And respawn. But no, it's one of the cool things is, I mean, you have the ability to sprint swim.
That's right.
Carl Magnus had mentioned that was not. It's really probably not the technical term right now, but it's one of the terms that are being used around the office. Sprint swim. Also, you can dive down and swim underneath the water. So if you want to go really recon, kind of special ops, you can kind of get under the water, swim for a little bit. I don't think the determination of how long you can hold your breath for has been figured out. I mean, there's different types that need to be talked about. Of course, this is a pre-alpha version of Battlefield 4.
Just about to say that. This is pre-alpha gameplay that you're seeing here. So, you know, and for it being pre-alpha, I am legitimately blown away by what the DICE team has been able to do. This isn't, you know, like me working here at the booth and promote. No, this is legitimate. Like, as a gamer, I play a lot of shooters, and I see a lot of games that are oftentimes not as far along in development. When I saw Battlefield 4, I was like, this is beta footage, and no, it's pre-alpha footage.
This is pre-alpha. This is early stages. I mean, we're going to see some great stuff over time, and watching this game evolve. Seeing some really great maps. I mean, we saw some of the campaign footage.
Yes.
We'll see a lot of that throughout the breaks as well. And we'll have the chance to be able to talk to some really great, informational, knowledgeable people about
community members as well.
Community members,
I even saw Dasgro's name on the list. Level Cap is supposed to come through as well. So a couple of awesome community members are going to be coming up, guys who legitimately love everything about Battlefield. They're going to be out here talking about the game, as well as developers as well from DICE and, you know, EA folk, all that good stuff. That is why this is the place to be if you are, you know, just want to tune into some E3 action, right? There's a bunch of places you can watch, but can't watch Battlefield anywhere else but right here on Battlefield.com.
It's a really, really, really gutsy move that you can take to try to show off a game in this. I mean, it's pre-alpha, early stages, but it's happening right now. I mean, that's 32 versus 32. That's some impressive stuff. And I'm looking forward to seeing some even more great action throughout. I mean, one of the cool things is, I know that we're doing just exhibition matches from those that are coming around from the event and just coming by, some just players that are just off the street. But really, it's great. That means we're going to see a bunch of different elements. Of course, probably all day today, we're probably going to see the skyscraper fall.
Yeah, everyone
time and time again, because that was my first thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to see how it was done. But honestly, now that I've seen it, well, now I want to go up the elevator. And, you know, so one of the funny things is so Alex and I, we're over at the EA press conference watching some really great stuff with Frostbite 3 engine and what that has to offer. But we had mentioned, I was like, man, it'd be so cool if there was elevator music. Guess what? There is. So everything that we thought, there's elevator music. So whenever you're going up the elevator, I mean, so we were at the event, so it's hard to hear certain things.
That's right.
But going up the elevator, there is elevator music.
That's awesome.
And so that's money.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's just those little things that I really appreciate. So without a doubt, though, we're going to see some great action all week long. We're waiting for players to start to come through and play the game. We just had a couple of sessions beforehand. Like I said before, had a chance to speak with a lot of the players that had participated. They really liked it. They enjoyed the fluidity of the controls. Also, a fun fact for anyone out there that is a fan of console gaming like myself, Corey's more of a PC guy. I'm more of a console guy. So that's why we're making a good combination. But they actually have the Xbox One controllers laid out in every single stage PlayStation, so you can actually pick up the Xbox One controller, get a good feel with it. I had a chance to play with the Xbox One controller. I really like it a lot. It feels natural, feels fantastic, and I think there's a lot of console fans out there that are going to be very happy about that. And another thing to point out as well is that the Battlefield 4 experience, that 64-player experience, that is also going to be on next-gen consoles. So a lot of people, I saw some people ask me that on Twitter, and I also saw people talk about it on Reddit. It is going to be on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Yep,
64-man servers running at 60 frames per second. It's going to be. That's a lot of frames. It's going to be great. It's getting the chance to be able to check that out. I think a lot of people, though, the PC elitists out there, one of the great things that they do too. I mean, you have to realize though. I mean, they use a controller of some sort too whenever they're flying those helicopters. I mean, you're going from the mouse and keyboard, and right whenever you hop into the helicopter, you switch over to the Xbox controller, the Xbox One controller.
I find it easier to fly.
For those of you out there in the Battlefield community that can fly a helicopter with mouse and keyboard, kudos to you, because I flip helicopters.
Baked. Yeah, you flipped helicopters?
Yeah, I flip helicopters.
That's not good. That's
I think it's like initial off the start.
It's like
the great thing is the people don't have to wait that long for a new helicopter to respawn, because I just hop in and it's game over from that point.
Yeah. And also, just so you guys know, we are showing Siege today. The Siege in Shanghai.
Siege of Shanghai.
That is the map that we are showing today. I know that some people were asking, are there going to be other maps? Not right now. This is
pre-alpha.
It's a pre-alpha. So we're showing this
Sink
first
your
map.
teeth in.
And also, this map is freaking awesome. Okay, I'm not even kidding. Like, it's the map design, in case you guys hadn't seen it, I think we saw some glimpses of it. It is a symmetrical map, right? B is obviously right in the middle. There are two bridges that lead into B.
You got C.
Excuse me, C, I apologize.
There's 5 points on Conquest.
5 points. And the cool part is that we actually talked about it before, was the commander mode and how the commander mode actually impacts things. So here's the cool part, right? If you spawn in the beginning of the game, you get your respective territories A and E, but you don't get any benefits for your commander. You only get benefits for B, C, and D. And I really, really like that. I like that little touch. Keeps things going, keeps the action flowing.
Yeah, so we're just taking a moment right now. Again, there's 64 stations right behind me, and there's 2 command points that you have the chance to be able to, and the commander stations are insane.
They are.
You got to be able to go out there and check out on the web, probably facebook.com/Battlefield, and be able to check out these commander stations. They're insane.
I want it in my home.
Oh, and the fact is, I mean, we're on 64 players. I mean, this is nuts, having a 32 versus 32.
Right.
But let's go ahead and take a quick break. Coming up, we're going to have some more multiplayer gameplay of Battlefield 4. We're in the pre-alpha stages, but we'll be back after the break.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Battlefield 4 Live at E3 2013 in Los Angeles, California. Alex Mendez, also known as Golden Boy FTW here, and I am brought by this man right here, this legend, Patrick Bach from from DICE, excuse me, and we just talked about this. Patrick Bach, he is the executive producer at DICE for Battlefield 4. Yes. Patrick, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm very well, thank you.
Very well. So let's talk about just Battlefield 4 right now. I mean, obviously, you guys have had an amazing showing thus far here. The press conference was astounding. I was hootering and hollering the entire time. But I do want to ask you just, how has the community reception been from the reveal?
In general, it's been amazing. People have been, sending me texts or tweets, and in general, the whole internet has been lighting up with positive comments.
Yeah.
Of course, some people are, I want to see more. When can I get my hands on it, etc., etc. But in general, we are extremely happy with the response. It's everything we hoped for. Everything from how the press conference went with revealing the 64 players, showing the actual live gameplay, commander mode, the Levolution package with everything from small things to big things happening as you play the game, the scale of the map, New features, new looks, new everything.
There's so much to bring to the table for Battlefield 4 this next generation, as well as even for the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. You can't even forget about that. But I do want to ask you though, in regards to executive producer, being the executive producer of Battlefield 4, what does that entail for people who may not know?
It means more or less that I am responsible for the quality and the delivery of this game.
Okay.
So my job is to use all the talent that we have in the studio to create the best possible game out there. So
awesome.
It's a brilliant job. I love it.
I don't disagree. So we are looking here at Gamplay right now, and I believe the cool part that I'm loving here. You had mentioned it before, the Levolution.
Yeah.
Right. That has been a big point of interest for a lot of players. What does that mean to the audience? And for people who are just tuning in, what is Levolution?
So Levolution is a concept that we're combining a lot of the things that we've had in the past and adding a lot of new stuff that creates a dynamic and living environment where players actually not only affect the gameplay by how they fight together, but they also use the environments to fight. We can see examples of big things and small things where people when they take down the big skyscraper, that's of course a very big moment.
Yeah.
But you see the bollards, for instance, that you can use to prevent tanks from crossing bridges. Where the tank driver then needs to get out of the tank to deactivate those.
Yeah.
So you create a lot of drama by having these features. You can see small things. You have fire extinguishers that you can take out and they explode and create a smoke screen, which is awesome. We have like metal detectors down in some of the stores in the Galleria, and they're also down in the subway, where if you pass them, you can actually hear that someone is in the area.
Yeah.
So there's everything from really small things to really big things that actually spices things up and create a dynamic and very living environment.
Yeah, and as we see right here, once again, hopping back to some chopper gameplay, we saw some tank action as well. But Alpha 2 here is just tearing it apart right now.
Really good chopper pilot.
Yeah, and I'm actually quite surprised too, because these are just people who are coming from the convention floor.
Yeah.
They're not, doing anything. They're not like, well, some of them are diehard Battlefield fans, without a doubt. But I think the cool part is just Joes that are playing the game and having a blast. So I do want to ask you a little bit about the various forms of combat.
He's going for C now. This is interesting. He will try to tear them down. This is really cool.
So he's trying to take them down from the top
from the
here.
chopper. They thought they were safe because they're at the top of the building.
But you're never
not
safe.
so much.
So and that brings me back to the thing I want to talk about, which is the various forms of combat.
Yeah.
Infantry base, vehicle base, as well as the air, naval, all that stuff. I mean, only in Battlefield can you get that kind of experience.
Yes.
But how difficult is it to, I guess you could say, balance that out in a sense, and when presenting it to people out there and saying, hey, listen, you can do all these amazing things. What are the initial reactions of people who may never played Battlefield before?
I think that's the great thing about Battlefield, that you can play it in so many different ways. So it doesn't really matter who you are as a player. You can always find your role on the battlefield. Either you're just playing as a supportive person where you help your team to win, or you can be a very offensive person to go hardcore lone wolf, full infantry action. But you can also be a dedicated chopper pilot like this guy, who's apparently he's never giving up. Apparently,
never give up, never surrender.
We have very dedicated tank drivers. We have dedicated, we're adding a lot of boats to the game now, ships and boats. So people will get very good at that as well. And then on top of that, we're adding commander mode, which means that you have a strategic layer on top of the whole game, where people can actually take care of the full team and help them and give them assets and provide support for the team. You see the bollards are up here. They cut back. So just looking at how we toggle between players, we can see that all of them are playing the game in a slightly different way, which is exactly what the game is designed to be.
Yeah, I mean, as you cycle through the players, you saw there was tank action, there was some helicopter pilots, there was a lot of infantry, which is what I like to do. I like to get down on the ground pound, and rush the objective, push the objective. That's what I'm all about. So, and look at this here. Actually, is one player. He's at the top of the skyscraper here, and this is a cool thing, right? Because in the last match we saw, this skyscraper did not last very long.
Okay.
It was taken down quite quickly, and that guy went jumping off the building. That's awesome. You can parachute. So that adds another element of just gameplay, you know, because that elevated, right? Now it's elevated. It's not brought down, but when it's brought down, though, then the sea territory becomes, the sea flag becomes a much different area. And now when I guess, developing this game, the DICE guys and all that, what was the theory behind the Levolution? Like, why do this? Why change the map? Why reinvent the wheel?
I think it lies in the nature of Battlefield, that you want the environment. You know, games tradition has been very static and very stale, and the gameplay has been kind of suffering from that, because you can easily lock down a map if you know exactly how it's going to play and what it's going to be about. But if you add these layers, you know, the Levolution layers with destruction and different variables that changes the map and changes the environment. Players can actually use that in a very tactical way. So it's not only for, you know, drama and make the game look better. It's actually a very tactical choice that you can use it for.
It's not just to say, hey, look at the pretty particle effects. It's to say, hey, this is something that greatly impacts gameplay, changes up the what people believe is a multiplayer shooter, and I love that. He jumps in the water, gun host that. I love that.
We have some new, speaking of water, we have some new cool you know, water features. Of course, the whole swimming experience now much better, with both you know, normal swimming but also sprint swim. Where you can swim faster. You can also duck underwater, and you can defend yourself because you use your sidearm while in water. So the water gameplay has improved quite a lot, actually. So
I love
that's really
that.
cool.
I think it's a really cool element, you know, to bring into the game. I even like the vehicle speed as well. Like you can drive at normal speed, but you can also make the vehicle go a little bit faster. Put the pedal to the metal, so to speak, and get to areas quicker. And it really does seem as if the mission this time around, as we watch here, Bravo 24 trying to get down here with that.
He's shooting at a teammate. That's not good.
I think no, I don't know. I think they're enemies. I'm not entirely sure.
No,
they're not.
The blue tags are your teammates. So.
Ah, okay. Well, but here's the thing. You know, just in talking about this, what I guess, you know, in regards to speeding up the action, right? Because everyone was always like, yeah, Battlefield's great, it's a fun game, but you know, sometimes it does take a little while to dive into things, right? This time around, it seemed like you had a mission, and that mission was speed the game up, make it enjoyable. Were those things, is that critical for you guys moving forward into growing the franchise?
Yes, very much. As you can see, we changed the whole user interface, the whole spawn screen, the whole, you know, kill death loop is vastly enhanced. So that's definitely a big part of. Oh,
here we
it's
go.
Going down.
Here we go. So and we knew it was going to happen. The skyscraper's got to go down. Everyone's down with it. Look at this here. The carnage and chaos it just brings.
Whoa.
Now this changes up the entire gameplay, right, Patrick?
Because you can see the wave.
And the wave goes through. Now there's dust all across the map, which is going to make visibility very difficult.
Yes.
But now C is going to be down at the bottom as well.
So the pilots will now have a very different, you know, environment to fly in, and only the most skilled pilots will be able to cope with this environment.
So you gotta have that keen eye for
and
destruction.
as you said, you know, this flag has completely changed now. Don't shoot your friends.
Oh no! So actually no, they're green. So I believe
that's your squad.
Yeah. Okay. So I think, but regardless of the fact, though, I mean, it seems as if you know, there's a lot of cool gadgets to play around with. Had a good time actually messing around with the with just like the customization, right? And I think it's kind of telling that you guys added a lot of things to it, like the canted sky.
Canted sight.
I love that, right? I've never really seen that in a game before. I saw it in the single player. Didn't think it was going to make its way to multiplayer. You guys pleasantly surprised me with that one.
Yeah, there's some really cool features if you go, you know, deeper into the game. Again, looking at the customization, there's a lot of things going on there with, you can now select different knives. For instance, you can add more attachments to your guns.
Yeah.
Like canted scopes. You can have flip-up optics, for instance, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
We have the whole Chinese army, which adds a lot of variation to both the guns and the gadgets, and of course the vehicles. You can see some really cool Chinese vehicles in here.
A lot of variety.
Many things. There's so many new things in the game that you will notice after playing the game for some time. We know that people, when they play Battlefield, they spend a lot of hours in it. So you don't want the game to be too shallow. You want to have this depth that you can figure out as you go along.
Yeah, and when I'm looking at the action and all that stuff that's going on, you can see how dramatically different things have been have changed because of the levolution mechanics that is in the game. This pilot right now dealing with a lot of dust, a lot of debris. Visibility is not as on point as it was prior. And oh man, look at this here, going to be coming down to this tank right there. Nice play by Alpha 02, as he's going to have to scale up on this one. But yeah, so I think that is a pretty cool mechanic, that levolution thing. It really does change the scope of the game itself, and really, I guess, adds variety. Oh, that sucks.
Down.
Now, the other thing I want to ask you about is commander mode.
Yes.
Why bring it back?
I think it's, we're at the time where we think that, commander mode actually adds a lot of value to the players, not only the actual commanders that play against each other, but also to everyone on the ground. So commanders are, adding a layer of strategic value to the actual commanders, but also a layer of, epic action moments for the people on the ground. The team needs to capture points to give the commander options. For instance, you don't get all your options until you have captured all the control points. So the commander really needs the people on the ground, and the people on the ground really need the commander.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that if you don't care about the commander, it's transparent. It doesn't change the game for you. It just
you can still play the game the way that you want to play it.
Yeah, so it adds a layer of value to those people that care about it.
And then one of the other points that I was particularly taken away by was the use of the commander mode on tablet.
Yes.
I thought that was awesome, right? Because, there are times where I'm probably going to be hanging out in my home, laying on my bed thinking, what can I do? Well, I can hop on commander mode and just play on my tablet. So, how was the decision process in implementing that into the game? I mean, that surely must have been difficult.
Yes, we have a tendency to do difficult things at DICE.
I see that.
We often talk about Battlefield from a very high concept level, not so much what you can do, but what we should do. And then we have to figure that out later on how to actually do it.
Yeah.
Commander mode on tablet it just felt natural. Like, you can play Commander, you play on the same servers as the infantry guys, but you don't really need the fidelity and the detail that the players that are on the PC or on the console that they need. So tablets might not work from a first-person perspective that well.
Okay.
But Commander mode is actually very strategic and actually perfect for a tablet.
Yeah.
So to us that felt very natural, and we wanted to make sure that when you play on the tablet, it should feel like the same game and interacting with the same people that are playing the first-person experience.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm a big fan of it. I can't wait to get my grimy little hands on it and dabble in the commander mode on my tablet, and just commander mode in general, because I just like the strategic element of it. So thank you very much, Patrick. I appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Battlefield 4 is truly amazing, and thank you for breaking it down for us on the stream.
Much.
All right, guys, so we are going to be right back with some more action coming at you live from E3 2013. This Battlefield 4 brought to you by DICE. And guys, it is awesome. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Battlefield 4 at E3 2013. Alex Mendes here alongside my good friend, my partner in crime. You're going to see us all week long. Corey Dunn, how you feeling, buddy?
Doing good, man. That's a great chance to be able to check out that last interview there with Patrick Bach. I think that's, again, I mean, this stuff is great. I mean, these are people that we sit there and see at press conferences. We get the chance to kind of catch a glimpse of them.
Yeah.
And then now we get the chance to be able to talk with them and really dig down deep. And one of the great things is you even hear how passionate they are about their games, even at a high level that they're at.
Yeah, I mean, really.
And how informed. I'm sorry, I had to cut you off. They are so informed, too. That is another mind-blowing thing to me.
That was definitely something that I was for sure going to touch on, because I feel as if, you know, you can't have this kind of job. You cannot embrace this industry without this passion, without that love, and that is really what separates a lot of these developers. That's what separates the good developers from the mediocre ones. And DICE is certainly not one of those mediocre guys by any means.
They're upper echelon.
They care about the community. They care about the game that they're putting out there, without a doubt.
Yeah, so one of the things, of course, you may realize right now, we're just waiting for the stations to populate behind us, get all 64 players over here. Luckily, I just realized, too, so I posted a picture out there on Twitter, of course, hashtag BF4 with the commander stations and how sick they are, but also something to look out for. I mean, this is news to us right off the bat. I mean, we're going to have some really high tier people that are coming by. We're going to get some thoughts and perspectives from people that I didn't even expect. We're going to have Exhibit come by, and I'll let you take care of that one. You can have fun with that.
I was a huge fan of Pit My Ride, and if I get a chance to talk with Exhibit, I just say, listen, man, the fish tank. I just got to know about it. You know, things like that.
I get you, man. I hear you.
Yeah, so we're going to have Exhibit in a little bit. So actually, no.
All right. So I spoke a little too soon.
Okay.
We got a little excited, but the fact is, really, we're going to be able to show off something with Exhibit. There's going to be an interview that's been already pre-produced that we can sit there and take a look at and get his insight of really what's out there. I mean, again, we're out here in LA. We're going to have the chance to be able to talk to some great celebrities, and might as well take advantage of it and get their perspective of what's out here. So, I mean, there's a lot of great things out here. Of course, I mean, yeah, if we had the chance, man, we would have dug down deep
into the mind of Exhibit. That would have been awesome.
That would have been
but I believe Lisa out there, she's the one that will be doing a bunch of the interviews on the floor, getting the reactions from the fans and the people.
That's great.
And that is really what it's all about here at E3. The people that come here, that love games, that have a passion, a true desire for it. And, this is probably one of the only stations, if not the only station, in the entire conference that has something of this scale. 64 players, 32 on 32. Ridiculousness.
In one game.
In one game. It's
in one server.
And then you can't forget about the commanders.
Not like a bunch of stations that are all just kind of playing amongst themselves.
Yeah.
In one server.
In one server. So, and that really is the separating factor of, just Battlefield in general, that thing that only you can find in Battlefield. That's why I'm a big fan of this game. My first experience, and I know a lot of people are going to go, no way. So my first experience with Battlefield was actually Battlefield Modern Combat on the Xbox. No way. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't have a powerful PC as a kid, so I played console all the time. And then Battlefield Modern Combat came out. I was like, what is this? What is this game? And I had the chance to play it, and I loved it. I fell in love with it the second I touched it.
Welcome to the community. I mean, so whenever I got the chance to be able to get into the Battlefield community, that was it. With Battlefield 1942, I played the Desert Combat mod. I mean, take a look at some of the old highlight videos. Again, even then, it was only in Battlefield. I mean, that's a campaign that's been going on for Battlefield 3. But really, it is only in Battlefield can you sit there and have 9 members across a plane flying around and then parachuting off out there in the distance. There's some great matches that I used to watch for Desert Combat, that mod. I mean, again, Battlefield giving the opportunity to create such a great game left that into what Desert Combat turned into be, and then when we saw what happened with Battlefield 2 and through its growing stages, and then Battlefield 3, I mean, we saw some really great new elements throughout the whole history. I mean, we've seen, the cool thing is that the Battlefield community continues to retain some of their continues to retain their community, and they move forward to the next version of the game. But then at the same time, while capturing a whole new audience, and that's what we'll see Probably going to capture a lot of different new audience here at this event as well, getting their first chance to get hands-on and playing in a 32 versus 32 man server.
Yeah, you can see a dapper individual there with a nice little blazer, getting ready to play some Battlefield on the red side, getting players lined up on the blue. I think that the fact that the line has pretty much just been gone, like it is so you can't even see where the line ends. That is just a testament to how excited people are for this one. So, and we are going to be jumping to the game right now. And back to this battle cam. I freaking love this, man. As an esports commentator, it is one of my favorite things to be able to just commentate with an awesome spectating tool. And it definitely seems like DICE is in the right direction with this one.
Yeah, I think one of the good things too, I mean, we talk about the fact that there's 4 different type of camera angles that you can take, or 4 different types of perspectives, whether that's the overview, first person, third person, or free cam. But at the same token, you can also hot switch to different camera angles, so you can get different perspectives. I mean, we had the chance in the last game to be able to see that skyscraper fall from that free cam look, and it was such a beautiful angle. Good job to the camera guy back in the production side.
Yeah, that was actually a really, really cool perspective. So basically what we're seeing right now is the U.S. squad going to be pushing up here right in the middle. Now, this is the part that I'm really interested in. Are the commanders dictating where they want their players to go, right? Because the commander, you don't have to listen to the commander, but it certainly does help. As we see right now, Alpha 16 is going to be in this Viper up top on the C territory, the C flag. And a little crash down here, but they're going to get out and probably go for the cap on C. So that's going to be really effective. But then you have to wonder, how long is C going to stay up for before any of these players decide to put some rockets to it?
Bravo 32, he sit there and thought that he had a little bit of a trouble driving that vehicle and ended up just crashing in. He said, well, probably better off walking. Then, of course, you had another one that said, I'm better off proning.
Yeah, right. You can see the tank over there. And just another thing to point out as well, you got to thank, the sponsors as well. We have some Razer equipment that is being used out here. AMD, I mean, they're just all over the place when it comes to this generation.
Yep.
They're in every single console. They're in all the best
insane.
PCs. And, of course, one of my favorite groups, Astro, with their headsets. Gotta love it.
For those of you that are wondering, you see the different camera angles of watching these players play the game. They're wearing those Astro A40s. It's been great to, I get this chance to be able to see them at some of these major events that are out there. See a lot of the professional players, those who are getting paid to play video games.
Ooh, look at this one.
We're seeing some really good stuff. But as we top on right now, we see Bravo 32. Trying to be able to pick up the kill. I think one of the other players was able to pick up that one.
Yeah, it was still a good rush, though. A good flank, finds one right in front of him, and he is able to connect with that one. I believe he takes him out on that play. So now he's going to go for this long-range action here, fighting for the C territory, obviously the middle area, a very highly contested spot. Of course, this is the building that can collapse down and change the complete dynamic of the map. But look at this guy, Bravo 32, man. Accuracy for days. This guy's he's a boss. Finding 2 guys in front of him, he's going to go for the shot. He ends up getting taken out. Man, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Good little run that he was going on there, trying to make an attempt. As right now, you see we're on board here with Bravo 31. Spots a tank. Having a little trouble with that.
Yeah, can't quite get the rocket to hit the tank. It's all right though. But in looking now, you can see the Bravo squad is going to be inside, letting the Alpha guys kind of just push around here and make them think, yeah, they're going to be safe. Yeah, definitely. We are going to get this D territory is what they're saying, the D flag. And they're trying to hold this down. You can see the bridge now on the other side.
There's some really key components to think about, too. I mean, whenever you're trying to take over these points, I mean, you've got B, who has the Tomahawk to help out for the commander, giving that offensive abilities to the commander. I mean, C gives you the gunship that you can look out for as well. But right now you can see right there, you can see that tank is struggling to be able to get by. Why is that? What is he having trouble with on that bridge?
Yeah, can't really get an angle on it, but you could see, though, that this skyscraper is
it's going down
in a bad spot here. It could end up getting taken down. That would make C drop all the way down to the ground floor and minimize visibility. And also, you had mentioned before about that bridge, the bollards. Those are basically things that allow the other team to stop anyone from making their way, advancing their way across the bridge. Love that aspect of it. You know, just some great balance.
Check out this one of the new amphibious vehicles where you see. I mean, look how the casing there. I mean, it's a lot more effective now. I believe you can see the jet ski on the back. So whenever you exit out of this vehicle, you actually exit out utilizing the jet ski. So you're not just a sitting duck. So that's a huge advantage.
And who doesn't like riding on a jet ski?
Oh, man. I had a field day. I tried to tell you earlier that I was riding a motorcycle because how far inland I got with that jet ski.
Man. So let's see here. Skyscraper now is going to be the flag that we're looking at, the C flag. And it seems like Alpha Squad is going to have some control inside.
That's a gutsy move there.
It is. But he is going to have positioning inside, finding a couple players. It's going to be one up top, too. Finding one in front. He's able to take out Bravo 07, so that's going to be a stop for them, as it seems like they're going to be turning this flag in the favor of the U.S. squad.
It's a great fight right now going on.
Yeah, without a doubt here. And so long as they can maintain this position, they're going to be able to win it. Only going to be one player advancing his way up here. Actually, another one on the roof as well, Corey. So you're actually seeing that the Bravo guys not letting back. They are going to be continuing to push forward. I just don't know if it's smart for them to push over one by one. They should definitely rally together.
Yeah, he finally was taken out there. Now again, we're over here on the seeing what happens on this Bravo side for the Bravo team.
Yeah, and 01 is actually going to dip around the side here. We can see the overhead view as the C is being contested. A lot of Chinese soldiers are going to be blue soldiers.
So insane.
It really is cool. So this is the tabletop view that you're looking at here. And as you can see, that blue is going to be taking over this territory on C. So they're going to win this one eventually, but it is still going to be a very close matchup between these two teams.
All right, so you can see right now they're trying to battle over here in the arcade area. Right now you've got Alpha OA who spotted one. Ooh. And that was an aggressive approach, but I guess he's thinking, hey, I'm an assault medic, a combat medic. I might as well just go and hop on down. Of course, he's got full packs there to be able to heal himself, picking up some points there as well. Again, they're working on those ticks. Chinese right now struggling, 598, U.S. side 732. Right now the U.S. are looks like they're trying to pick up D right now.
Yeah, you can see a lot of pressure here coming from the bridge. Alpha 07 on your screen here, finding one guy in front of him, a 7 counterpart, as he is going to be able to close this one out. No, he gets picked off. So that is quite surprising as we jump on board with Alpha 20, who's going to be riding in this truck at this point in time. He's going to be advancing his way over to D, trying to get this control. But I don't know what the benefit is of him driving this one, and probably should keep his vehicle a little farther back and go support the efforts on the ground there.
He's just rocking by. Of course, he's just trying to get through here. Trying to figure out how all-terrain this vehicle really is.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's all-terrain through this type of landscape.
90-degree angles are not its friend.
Yeah, so again, here's another type of perspective. You get that third-person view. Again, one of the things that I love is all the other types of information that we're getting from it so far. You can see that he's got 2 kills so far. He's died twice in this game. I've been playing pretty well. He's got picks up a lot of points there. Finally, of course, he realizes that he has to utilize the road to get around.
Yeah, the road, a revolutionary concept.
It's mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing, yeah. But, yeah, so look at this here. 20 is actually going to have some support inside, and they are going to have that gunner on there. So this is certainly going to be looking pretty good for them as they make their way into D, and they might be able to get this control here. So I'm liking this from the Alpha team.
Nope, back on retreat.
There we go. No. Yeah, sometimes you just got to watch out for nature. Nature is not your friend when it comes to vehicles. But, all right, so looking here, Bravo side, jumping over to the Bravo team as they maintain their control of the east side now.
All right, so right now you can see that they're actually finally working together. You've got 4 members who are going to start heading over here. He spots one long range. Oh, he's going to get taken down as well. We'll kind of cycle around and find some players that are in the action. As right now we're back over here with Bravo 2. Bravo 2 holding back. He's kind of out of the picture, but his squad is spawning right behind him as well, taking complete advantage. One of the things, though, I know there's a question out there. One of the things that for Battlefield 3, you only had 4 members in your squad, and of course you had that fifth wheel, if you have, was kind of hanging out. Oh no!
I saw that one happening. I was like, why would you go in the street, bro? Stay alive. Please believe in yourself. He gets picked off, though. That's going to be another player. And look at this here. Bravo.
Hey, don't do it. Don't fall off the edge so I can get my points, bro.
Yeah, right.
Don't commit suicide. I got you.
Well, I like this here. So they are going to be controlling the.
Is that sports on TV?
I think so.
Hey, man, what do we got on TV right now?
But you want to know what, though? It is the skyscraper is coming down 100% here. You can actually see, though, that there was a little bit of an altercation up top, but it is definitely going to be raining death and destruction. And look at this, Alpha 05, 10 kills, 2 deaths. I like that a lot. You know, of course, in the armor, in the tank, good positioning, and here comes the skyscraper.
And so for those of you that are questioning, I don't know, I think we mentioned it a couple times so far, but if you're just now tuning in, the one way that you take out this skyscraper here on Siege of Shanghai, there are 4 pillars that are well defined on the fact that they're unstable, and you can see that 2 highly explosive rockets, you can have some artillery, maybe even some tanks that are shooting at those pillars. Usually takes 2 shots per pillar to be able to take down that skyscraper. And we see how the Levolution has altered the gameplay going into this later part of this map.
Yeah, and again, you know, to bring up the dust that is brought up because the building coming down here, you know, that is the thing that you have to keep in mind, how it just dramatically affects gameplay. Air units are not as effective because of the fact that this dust is surrounding here. And look at this, this lone guy.
Well, that's a smart move, because right now, unless they don't have the flag, right now, this is where the new point exists.
Whoa.
It looks like he's been spotted. He's trying to be able to stay alive. Maybe that might have been his teammates shooting at him. But you got that attack helicopter right there. It's going to nice little air battle that's happening so far. Again, right over where that the rubble is for the skyscraper.
Yeah, and you know, and that is the cool part too, just to see all these moving parts in action. As you can see, the helicopter is trying to get into some craziness there, but I hear that it is not done. And there, oh, wait a minute though.
Uh-oh, look out! He's going to have some flanking. There's going to be a 3v1 right here up on top of that C flag.
And as we see, you know, the thing that I really did like about that push there was they came from the sea, right? It was not an airdrop or anything like that. It wasn't anything that would kind of mess them up. They maintained their position, came through the sea. No one expected them.
Great teamwork.
And now they have sea. Look at that, the sea to get sea.
They had 3 members that worked together. I mean, you had 2th by sea, 1th by land.
Oh my God!
And was able to take out the 1 member.
2th by sea. Oh man! And another cool thing, you saw that one player actually dive into the water there. We had spoke about it before. There's no like official term for it, but you can swim faster, or as I.
No, it's a sprint swim.
Sprint swim.
It's official.
And leaderboard there.
Look at that! How different perspective. The ways that you can switch between players.
Yeah.
Can we take another look here? I know that we're kind of watching some of the in-game stuff, but the spectator mode stuff is great. And having the ability to hot switch. I mean, we saw the tabletop view.
Yeah, actually,
and how you can sit there and select players that are inside the action. Be able to pick a player there. Also, you can look at a player that's doing incredibly well, picking up numerous kills, and watching from their position by going through, holding down the tab, showing the scores, and selecting which player that you want to see at that point. That's just those are great ideas already being put into play in this pre-alpha version of Battlefield 4.
Yeah, we just saw Alpha 4, Michael Phelps his way across the water.
That's pretty quick.
In a very, very quick manner. But yeah, and you could see here, and actually, if you see overhead, you just saw it in the bottom left of your screen there, there's a UAV that's actually circling around. That is done by the commander.
Right, and also the squad unit has actually made, the commander's also made a designated point of where he needs to attack. So again, the commander showing different efforts to help out his squads to make a move. Again, one of the cool things from the commander's perspective, you actually can select each squad that you would like. So if you want your alpha squad to attack the B flag, you select on the alpha squad, and from there, you select exactly where you want to go, and you can order them to attack.
Yeah, and the other thing is that this all can be done from a tablet as well. So that's another really cool element there. So as we go ahead and we're switching to different perspectives now, you see Alpha 20 though, he is going to be inside of this, inside of the MRAP, and just actually giving his teammates some much needed cover with his vehicle here. trying to actually take out some players, but Alpha 20 struggling just a little bit.
Trying to get that gunner and the driver to work in unison as they're kind of flipping back around, but a lot of action that's happening over there towards the east side. Now, this is what we were talking about whenever the skyscraper comes into play. But right now, you can see that you've got the gunship from here from afar. The AC-130 gunship. Again, that was because the fact that they picked up that C flag point.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, to point out was the vision was very, very blurry because of the fact that the dust was kicked up from the building falling down. So that really does change things quite a lot. And, you know, while the AC-130, more than you know, it definitely is.
Oh, look out, counterattack, F. Oh, I don't think that worked on him.
Yeah,
but again, it's just another great perspective. I mean, I had the chance to be able to sit there and talk with Carl Magnus, and he brought up the fact that there's also counterattack. So whenever they're coming back around, you need to look out for yourself. If you're quick enough, if you're hot on the trigger, you can kind of counterattack and hopefully stay alive.
That's really cool. I like that a lot. I actually had no idea that that was in there. So that's pretty awesome. Way to go, Corey.
I got you, brother.
Yeah, you know, that's why we're the dynamic duo.
Yeah, we give a different perspective on both sides. You know, with your console background, really having an understanding of PlayStation 4 and where it's going, and Xbox One and where it's going, and some of the cool things that's going to happen here for Battlefield 4, watching the 64-man servers.
That's right.
You know, it's another great thing. I mean, but a huge shout out real quick to some of the sponsors, some of those that are making things possible. Shout out to Twitch for making things happen here, giving us the ability to stream out there as well. And also, one of the great things too is the fact that you know, Amazon is going to be helping out as well. For those of you that want to pre-order Battlefield 4 now, head on over. Make sure you click the tab button, create a new tab, continue to watch the stream, and pre-order Battlefield 4 right now on Amazon.
Yeah, that's right. It's really cool stuff. You know, we're being featured on there. And we also do have some awesome interviews as well all day long. I believe Daniel Petros is coming up next, if I overheard correctly.
Yeah, he's one of the people to talk to there about the spectator mode. We can kind of dive down deep into all the different elements that kind of come into play there.
Yeah, and like I said before when we hopped into this game, I'm so happy for spectator mode. I'm so happy that this is here because it really does, you know, it shows that there's an even broader vision for Battlefield. It's just allowing people to do this from the comfort of their home. It's just so swell, and I'm a big fan. So, yeah, so we actually see here that Alpha 13 rocking that RPG now, and they're going to be pushing B quite aggressive in the Metro now. But it seems like that is the
end of the game. We were running down on our tickets.
They couldn't get to B
there for Conquest. But again, it's been a lot of fun to watch. I mean, a huge shout out to our camera guy. They're in game, kind of giving us different perspectives. I mean, we had the chance to be able to talk about it. We'll, of course, be able to dive down even deeper, talking about the spectator mode. I'll start asking the questions about how you switch whenever you're showing the scoreboard. Then also from the tabletop view, we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty whenever it comes down to talking about the spectator side. And we'll do that coming up after the break. And we'll bring in a whole new set of exhibition players to be able to check things out. I mean, again, talking about the spectator mode, Daniel Petros coming up next, right here from the Battlefield live stream. We'll be right back.
They can see us.
All right, guys, so welcome back here to Battlefield live stream. I'm right here next to Daniel Petros now.
Yes.
And we said that we're going to talk about the spectator mode. We're going to dive down deep. We're going to get to the nitty-gritty about every single aspect, where we're at right now, and then where we're going with the spectator mode. I mean, this is pre-alpha stages. It's the early stages of it. Let's go and talk about some of the elements that we see within the game right now. So let's go and talk about, I mean, right now we're in first-person view. What are some of the other elements that we can kind of see within this GUI right here?
So basically, you have the mini-map, you have the ticket count. You can see, this is basically replicating the first-person view of the player you're spectating. Right now it's Bravo 24. You can see exactly what he's doing, the ammo count, all that kind of stuff. So basically, this is the closest you get through the in-eye camera. And if you switch to third-person, you will have, there we go, the third-person view, basically, over his back. You can rotate the camera, you can go up, down. You also have a player card showing if he's got any kills, deaths, what's the KD, the score. You also see the accessory weapons and also the ammo. This is just to keep you in the action.
I really like the aspect of right there. So right now, it's based off of what weapon he has in his hands at the time. You saw that he pulled out, he's got the M9 right now.
Yeah.
And you can also see that there's no accessories, there's no additional attachment. He's got the standard barrel that's on it. So a lot of that's great information, especially with such an educated Battlefield community out there. That type of information is key and pivotal looking at the game. Also, like you stated, you see how much ammo he has. Just the good facts right here in this point. Something I'm going to ask a question right off the bat, though. How is the Q and E? So I see those are going to be your previous and your next.
Yeah.
But how is that? Is that based off of the geography, how close they are to someone else? Is it based off of how they are on the scoreboard?
It's based off how they're structured in the scoreboard, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was third person. And the scoreboard, right, we have it right here. If you click one player's name on the scoreboard, that will take you to the first person view. That's a quick way of spectating someone.
That's a beautiful thing.
So you have different ways of joining in. When we first designed this, let me stop right there and just say, we as in we the team. The team who has been making this is an absolutely amazing team. They're fun to work with. They're super professional, and look at what they've done. They've done an incredible job. And also to our game team over here, we blew it away yesterday at the press conference. I mean, absolutely amazing. So all the love to the team.
And every bit of that was live.
Yes.
There was nothing that was, there was no video rendering. There was no, they weren't just standing up there, just hanging out. There were 64 players out there.
Yep.
The fact that they had Carl Magnus out there on a tablet in this early stages of Battlefield 4. That was phenomenal for me. Let's continue talking a little bit more about this. So again, like you had mentioned, the first-person view, you've got your mini-map. This is basically copy-pasted from what you see in the first-person view of an actual gamer.
And the third-person view is, of course, third-person. The free cam view, this is my favorite, though. You have 5 different free cams. Right. And with these 5 different free cams, if you spectate with one free cam, like we're doing right now, floating around and then switch to another one, you will have another free cam view. If you switch to another one, you'll have another one. And you can alter the speed of the free cam. You can place it anywhere, and you can always go back to the same spot, and it's pinned down. So basically, you can create some cinematic shots out of that.
So my first question then, with that being said, again, this is a great, thanks for the camera guy, giving us the perspective of where those positions are at. They're using the tabletop. If we go back to the free cam for a moment, while we kind of talk about this, my next question that I have to ask is, whenever you're in free cam mode and you're using one of the presets, so we're in preset 1, and you're moving about the map. So right now we're on preset 2. If we move forward and get inside of the skyscraper, and then go to preset 1, and then come back to preset 2, are we where we first began, or are
you're always where you drop the camera? So basically, see yourself as a stick figure walking with the camera. If you switch to another one, you've dropped that camera at that spot where you picked up the other one. So
there we go.
That's how it is. And we also have the tabletop view. The tabletop view is basically, that's your orientation map for being a spectator. You have the picture-in-picture. You have if I press, you see the green helicopter over there.
See the green
That's
helicopter.
pressed, and you can see all his squad mates. If I press another squad, I can see the other squad mates.
Getting the chance to actually see those rockets come out and actually see the shots being fired. That's something else. You can see where all the infantry is at, where all the vehicles are at.
This is your orientation map. So you can also see your place cams everywhere. And if you can zoom in with the scroll wheel, you can just check everything out. And I love the tabletop view. I love it. It's really good.
So one of the things that whenever I watch any other games, one of the coolest things that we always talk about is having the ability to see the overview and click what player we want to see right then and there. I think what's great is that
as well. If you click a player, you will go into the first-person view. If you click a vehicle that's being taken by a player, you get into first-person view.
So that alpha member right there was just selected.
Yeah, and when we designed this, I mean, we took a look at spectator modes all over, all across the years, and we looked at esports spectators, and for major esport events, major esport games, it's cool to have a good spectator. But spectator from the original part of esport was only for seeing if anyone cheats, like way back in the days.
Yep, yeah, you're right, exactly.
And it's evolved through Twitch and through everything going cloud. It's evolved to like a big spectator sport. Keeping that in mind, and then going over to seeing that, okay, our movie guys, we have a lot of people who make movies in Battlefield.
A ton.
And they can make some amazing movies
only in Battlefield.
using this. Yeah, exactly, only in Battlefield. So we combine those two worlds, and as it says, this is pre-alpha. There are more really cool stuff coming to complement the spectator mode on launch.
What are some of the things that that we can look forward to seeing whenever we're talking?
So basically, a UI that keeps you more informed about your squad. Basically, health bar, the cross with health ticking down. You will see that. You will see the loadouts. You will see how many kills and deaths on the squad boards on the left and right.
Okay, so
It's difficult to explain.
No. So if we're going to talk, I mean, so like I said, so I've listened to you, kind of give us some of the cool stuff. Some of the things that I think right off the bat would be really cool too is having the ability. So I think it's great that you can see the key bindings at the top of the screen. You've got your F1, F2, so on and so forth, so you can switch between. It'd also be, and this is me talking directly at you. It'd also be really cool as if you can hide that.
You will be able to hide that.
So you will see. These are the great
because
things.
movie makers don't want to have the whole interface in, and leagues who run their own things and streams, people don't want to have that on. They might want to have their own stuff. So yeah, that's going to be removable.
So it's going to be removable.
Or toggleable.
I guess a toggle. Yeah, it's going to be a better way of saying it there. And also, I guess for those movie makers out there, would they also be able to toggle on and off?
Yeah, everything. You can have a complete
here?
Clean screen as well. Basically
that's
having
amazing.
nothing on.
That is phenomenal. I mean, there's a great deal of movie makers. For those that this is your first time to actually even see Battlefield. You haven't actually had the chance to play any of the Battlefield games. The community out there, they produce some high quality videos out there, and if you give them the opportunity with something like that, being able to give them a clean slate. Yeah. And from any perspective that they like, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, we've got some really good stuff coming up. So and all the love to the team who created this. They've done an amazing job. The game team as well as the spectator team. I'm so proud to get to work with them. Every day I go to work, I look forward to working with them. They're absolutely amazing.
So some of the things, let's talk about. We see that we got the player information. It's when we're talking a little bit more competitive side, sometimes you want to be more informed about the other players that are within the team. So,
yeah.
So are we going to get the chance to be able to see other player health bars from a first-person view?
Yes. So it's difficult to explain because I can't have an overview of it. But the whole idea is that you will be able to spectate from up to 64 player servers. So
wow.
No separation of game mode, no separation of server count. Anywhere, anytime on the PC, and you will be able to see really cool stuff. You'll be able to see the health bars of everyone on the server if you're a spectator. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming out.
That's incredible. I look forward to every single aspect, so I have to ask for the community's sake, how much feedback do you really listen to?
Oh, a lot. We listen to a lot of feedback. I mean, post BF3, we collected a bunch of feedback as well, because that's what you do when you put out a new game. You start collecting more feedback. And look at our game now. Yeah, so I would say I could go around to any Battlefield forum and just tick the boxes after what we've done here at E3. So, and after what the team has been making, incredible people.
I thought was really great too is whenever I was talking to Carl Magnus about it, I didn't even have to mention anything about suppression. He was the one that brought it up, and that to me is something else, because I know the community was asking about it, how suppression going to work, because in BF3 it's kind of it's making a great deal of impact to the players that are in it.
I mean, that's also a thing we took in mind. It's also a thing we took. I mean, anything that's reasonable. I mean, you can't have flying cats with wings all over the map. I mean, that's not reasonable. So stuff that is very reasonable gets in. And you can see Battlefield has always been a result of great community cooperation, and yeah, I mean, look at us now.
I think one of the great things that we look at is just how your team listens to it. But one of the things that I want to say to the viewers out there that have feedback once they get their hands on the demo is whenever you're making a point, you don't just say something is bad, something is good. You explain why. You articulate why something is bad or good. So that way, if you want to see changes happen, then it's going to, because you've made your point, and now they have a reason why. The developer has a reason why to make changes to the game.
Yep, and I love Spectator.
I think it's Spectator. You had me at hello. I mean, it's just
the rest of the game, man. I love this game. I seriously do.
The capability of being able to switch between players, having the chance to be able to guide through 64 players in the server, getting the chance to be able to see the spectator side, being able to see infantry move across the map. Yeah. There's so much information that is not being lost.
Yeah, and I mean, simplicity isn't always bad. This is a very simple interface. It's very simple to navigate. It's very simple to spectate different players. It's very easy. Sorry, it's very simple to switch around in free cams, and you know, it's simple, but it's still very good.
So let's talk about it. So right now we're in third-person view. I've seen some other attempts at making spectator clients within the Battlefield scene, and it's a great work. Do you have the ability to zoom out from the tank? Can you change your perspective by depth?
That is something we're looking at. Definitely. That's definitely something we're looking at. We've done an amazing job right now, and we're going to keep iterating on it.
This is now getting
very
nitpicky, and we have so much time to be able to see until this release comes out for Battlefield 4. So the other question that I have to ask, though, so I already know that the PC side's covered. Is this going to be implemented for the PlayStation 4 side or not?
We'll see.
There you go. Those are the types of answers I would want.
And regarding community feedback, send us your feedback.
Yes.
I love to read feedback. Our community managers would like to see the feedback. If it's reasonable, mix it into the game. We can't bring everyone coffee and cake all the time.
Exactly.
But when we do it at a press conference, and it is glorious. So on launch, go out there, make some movies.
There you go. I mean, again, it's about getting your voice heard.
Exactly.
So I mean, just some of the other things. Is there anything else that we really need to look at? Some of the features that we may see in the future for the spectator mode?
I think this is good for now.
All right. I'm trying to dive through. I mean, there's so many things that have already been covered. The fact is, I mean, with the tabletop view, if we can go ahead and switch over to, we'll kind of run down through everything. So as we look at the tabletop view, of course, this game is wrapping up right now. You have the ability to see every bit of the action. You can see all the infantry. You can see all the vehicles. You can actually see your own camera, so you know where they're positioned at.
Yeah. So to sum it up, that's the tabletop is your orientation screen where you are neutral. You don't belong to a specific faction. You're completely neutral. You can see everything. You can click on basically everything and join through first person if it's occupied by a player. And first person is first person, replicated. Third person has a good player card. We can track the stats. You can track the loadout. You can track, ammo count and all that kind of stuff. And then free cam, which is the most cinematic feature of Spectator.
It's going to be some great things to look forward to.
You're going to see some amazing movies.
There's going to be a lot of moments. Only in Battlefield we're going to see it. Daniel, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on here.
Thank you very much.
We'll definitely get the chance to be able to speak to you later on more here at E3. Special thanks for everyone. Of course, we're also being streamed on Amazon as well. While you're there, might as well go ahead and pre-order for Battlefield 4. We'll be back right after break. Thanks a lot, Daniel.
Thanks for watching.
See you in a bit.
It was good.
Thank you.
It's really good.
Guys, and welcome back to Battlefield 4 at E3 2013. I am joined by Alex, and he is very conscious about his hair, but it looks glorious. You look adorable. It is a wonderful look that you got going for you right now.
I can see myself on camera. I don't usually do that. So
Well, so this is Alex. He is one of the guys who works over at DICE and is one of the game developers for Battlefield 4. Why don't you tell people what you do and what you, I guess, what you do for DICE on a day-to-day basis?
So basically, I take care of Battlefield 4's multiplayer. I take care of the team that produces that.
Okay.
So what do? I try to make sure we're working on the right things and make sure that everything is as it should be on the game.
Everything
itself.
works.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I also understand that you were the hero in the multiplayer review. You were the guy who was piloting the main character that we were following, all the drama, the tension, and the suspense. That was all you.
That was me.
I have to ask you though, that was definitely a really, really cool, showing of it. How was it being on the stage with all those people watching you, and play Battlefield for hundreds of people in the audience?
Hundreds. I think there was like thousands.
Maybe, yeah, probably thousands.
Yeah.
I mean, I was being very, very generous. You know what I mean? It probably was thousands, but yeah. So tell me a little bit about that.
So this was a not simple thing to pull off. We spent quite a lot of time rehearsing this.
Okay.
Because what we wanted to do with this demo was to try to create a demo that kind of hit on a few new things that we're trying to do with this game.
Of course.
Sort of highlight them so people can at least go, oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. And typically you won't be able to hit them if you're not doing this kind of rehearsed flow through a multiplayer match, because then you'll just run around and die, and maybe you don't see the event, maybe you do. So it was a way for us to try to show, okay, so how do we show multiplayer in a new and interesting way?
Yeah.
So that's what we did. So we did tons of rehearsal. We actually came over last week from Wednesday, and we did like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We started with a small group of people. We added more, so 30, and then we were 64.
There were a lot of people on that stage, but it was really cool to see all the people, go crazy as soon as that camera lifted. Yeah. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, this is happening. This is real." Yeah. So now, as far as just the reception here at the convention floor, we've had lines. I mean, the line the line is like down there, way down there. And how's the reception been from the players so far, from your perspective?
From my perspective, people seem quite happy about it.
Okay.
I feel a bit sad for people standing in line and only getting to play 15 minutes. I enjoy this map as much as I've been playing it over, and I still discover, new facets and new ways to kind of use this map for fun. So they stand in line for 15 minutes, and they only get to taste a very small portion.
A morsel.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like we have so much more to show you guys.
Of course.
You won't be able to experience it all. So, but from what my gut feeling, or what I'm picking up here, is that people think it's really cool and enjoy it. And, hopefully we'll pick up a few new fans as well here.
Well, I certainly hope so. Just want to give a huge shout out to the people watching at home. I was told we have like 50,000 people watching us on Twitch TV, as well as Amazon. That is a new thing. We're on the Amazon.com page there for games.
Cool.
For the E3 coverage. It really is something amazing to be a part of. Now, in talking about Battlefield and talking about just like the scope of the game, I had a chance to talk with Patrick about this, but I also want to get your perspective of it as well. The guys at DICE obviously know that with every new iteration of Battlefield, they have to push the boundaries more and more. You can't just settle on just re-releasing something.
No.
I guess what were the planning? What was the planning going into just Levolution and sea combat and all these things? How was it at DICE? How crazy it must have been.
So, what typically happens is that when we release a game, we feel really bad about it.
Okay, why is that?
Because there's tons of things that we didn't get time to do.
Okay.
So, the best ideas typically come up while you're developing it. Oh, what would be cool if we could do this and that, and if we could have commando mode and blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly you can't do it, right?
Yeah.
Because there's time. So, what we did after BF3 was shipped, we took a look at the game and said, okay, what is the main problems with the game? And then we identified a few things that we needed to take care of, and we started, so how do we add features that make sense towards fixing those goals that we set for ourselves? So that's kind of how we started the process. And of course, commando mode has been around. We wanted to do it for ages.
Yeah.
So it's not something that we decided not to do. It's just something that finally we had the time to do it. And I think that by bringing it to a tablet as well, really then it really shines through that you can experience it in different ways and stuff.
Yeah, and I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that. I didn't even notice it. It was so seamless at the event itself, where you had you had this one individual coming up with the tablet, and they were just like, oh, I'm just gonna drop some artillery right there. It was awesome. So the commander mode obviously is a feature you guys always wanted to put into the game. You guys saw it, by the way, when we were coming down from the camera there. There was a shot of the commander station on Reddit as well, because I'm reading the Reddit thread, guys. I'm out there. I'm checking everything out, getting ingrained into the community, because the Battlefield community as a whole is a very, very vocal and intelligent community. The commander mode station is amazing. Now, in designing commander mode, one thing that I do want to ask about, the commander himself is not a physical character in the map.
Correct.
Right? In the original commander mode, he was. The commander was an actual physical player in it.
Right.
What led to that design change, if you don't mind talking about that? And also, which I like it, by the way. I think it makes sense. You're out there, right? You're not in the fray. And also just, I guess, how commander mode itself is really going to impact the players who we see are gearing up right now.
So I think that we wanted commander mode to be like something that you spend your whole time doing.
Okay.
And if you spend your whole time doing it, there's no sense of why you should be in the world itself.
Okay.
Also, we open another space for another player to be in that map.
That is true.
Instead of taking up one of the 64 player slots. But we wanted to make sure that the commander mode was so interesting that, like I said, keep playing it. There's if you speak about actions per minute, that's something we talked about. How
Really?
many things do I need to do? Yes. How many things do we want you to do per minute?
Okay.
I think that we're getting to the point where we have the things to do that, like, you're not Counter-Strike. No, sorry, you're not StarCraft thing, super thing. But you're doing like interesting choices every 10-15 seconds, maybe even less if there's things happening. So it's like, okay, a squad's doing this thing. You need to launch that. You need to come up and deploy the gunship, and you can do the radar scan, the radar jam. So if you want to do something, you can do something pretty much constantly. But the idea is that you're supposed to convey this information, what's going on, as you have the kind of oversight to your squads, and they can react on that. And,
without a doubt. Yeah, and the other cool part about it is how the players, again, impact it, right, in capturing flags, like we saw in the gameplay, which we'll probably be bringing up in a little bit here. And actually there you can see it. When you capture a territory or flag, you gain something for the commander to use. I think that was, a pleasant thing, a pleasant surprise for myself. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like that really does change things up quite a bit. Now, and also, I do want to ask you a little bit about this as well. Commander mode in itself, that is something that is going to be across the map, like all maps, correct?
Yes.
And every map is going to have its own, I guess, impact on commander mode, right?
Yes.
So that is actually some pretty cool stuff. I'm pretty sure a lot of the community is really stoked about.
Yeah, I never liked the fact that you had in the main base back in Battlefield 2, you had all your assets in the main base, and there was no reason to capture flags other than to win the match. We wanted to give it, incentive for the commander to capture flags and actually get his squads to do it. It is, we want actually to get the feeling that you were helping the commander and the commander was helping you. That's the feeling we're trying to convey, that you become better if you follow orders, and the command becomes better when you follow orders, and then he can reward you back with various upgrades, and he'll drop things down to you and to your squad. That's kind of like a win-win.
Or win-win situation.
Yeah, exactly, for both parties.
Yeah, and that's really cool, that relationship that is created between the players on the ground and the commander, especially if it's an organized group too, because that's something that Battlefield really prides itself on. When you get in there with a big group of friends and you organize, your game session, having a commander, a designated commander, could really change things up a bit, if I don't say so myself.
Yeah.
So really excited about all that stuff. Now, another thing that I want to ask you in regards to just what you do, you did say that you were involved in just like all facets of the development of Battlefield 4. What's your favorite thing? What is the thing that you look at it and you're like, I love this. This is awesome.
Oh, that's easy. That's when I get to playtest the game.
When you get to playtest?
Yeah, when we get the good playtest running.
Yeah.
That's the best that's what my favorite part of the day.
Yeah.
So when you can see when all things come together, you can see the progress we made, and you just get to play. You know, I'm a big Battlefield player. I've been playing Battlefield since the first game, and by stroke of luck, I suppose, I got to work on them myself. But you know, 1942 was a big moment for me.
Yeah.
And I still enjoy these games. I play it quite a lot. Probably that's not as much as you guys on, you know, that's watching the feed right now. But I think I clocked like 150 hours. But
you played quite a bit Battlefield.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I wish I could do more, actually.
Well, you know what? You create the experiences for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah.
I know that the community is eternally grateful to what you guys have done. And really, this has been an awesome showing for Battlefield 4. It's like you know, and like you had mentioned before, how DICE is always just pushing themselves further. You can see it. You can see it with Battlefield 4 that you guys are really just, you're not resting on your laurels. Like, and don't get me wrong, there are plenty of other things that I know fans out there are going to be like, oh, they should have done this, but when you really think about it, you guys put so much into this game, and there's still more to put into it.
Yes.
You know, there's still more work to be done because we're only showing pre-alpha today, right?
Of course,
that's crazy.
There's tons more stuff that isn't in this build, of course, that will keep revealing over time.
Yeah.
And there's tons of stuff that we didn't get to do. Even now, I realized there's like, okay, then we have to remove some stuff that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But you know, that goes straight onto the idea shelf for next game.
For the next one, right?
Yeah,
and that is the cool part. You guys are always thinking of what's next, what's to come. So as we look here, we see some of the action going down now. When you guys get together for your playtest sessions, how do you guys organize your attack here? Do you guys always go to destroy the skyscraper? Do you try and defend it so that this way you can get the upper ground? What is the idea here for an attacking squad? What do you guys think?
I think that the key here is to hold the skyscraper. And the reason I'm saying that is because that you can paradrop into pretty much any base you want from there. So if you get infantry up into the top of the skyscraper, they can pretty much access the whole map, which is a huge tactical advantage in this map.
Now, the other thing I'm curious about, how do you go about defending the skyscraper, right? The bottom portion of it. I know it's a big thing is, you know, keeping armor out, not pushing around it, but what do you guys do?
So first of all, I think you need to control the bay. If you're using a boat to control the bay area and not have people trying to take the building down, to keep the skyscraper intact is if you have the top of the skyscraper, you want to keep it. That's probably and then you need to control the bay because that's where the weak points of the skyscrapers are.
That poor guy.
Yeah.
You know, you don't take a gun to a car fight. I mean, really, so you do want to control the bay. Also, when you secure C, you also get the gunship, which, if you know your commander is paying attention, you can deploy, and that could cause a lot of problems. Now, can the gunship attack land vehicles as well?
Yes.
Is it that effective?
Yes. The gunship is mainly a ground attack vehicle, so to basically have access to these cannons that you can shoot down on the ground, it's quite powerful cannons that you use. The thing is that if you take the skyscraper down, there's another incentive to take it down if you're on the other team.
Oh no, they left him.
Because then you get all this dust that covers the map.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit difficult for the gunners in a gunship to actually hit something on the ground. Then you're more required for people to spot things, and you need more intel basically in order to use that gunship really well. So I would say the tactic B is like capture the skyscraper and keep it.
And also, don't destroy your helicopters.
Also, don't destroy your helicopters.
You really, really do need your helicopters. So we are looking here, Bravo 30, one of the 64 players that are playing in this play session right now. And you can see the Bravo Commander up top, Commander Mode, the feature that has been brought back from Battlefield in the past, and has received a lot of praise from the community. From what I understand, a lot of people are like, I just want to play it. I just want to mess around with that. It certainly is a very cool feature. So when you look at what the commander could do, how, if you don't mind me asking, how do you guys go about choosing who is the commander? Is that something that is being done right now? Like, think like, okay, how are we going to implement this in matchmaking and servers, or is it like teammates vote their play their
So we will have a system that I think people will find fair. We just won't go into any specifics right now as we're kind of working our way through.
But a fair system is in place.
Fair system is in place. Yeah. So I think that you will find it satisfactory in the way that we manage it. It's in the in the spirit of the previous system.
Obviously, there's a lot of new things that have been revealed, and there is a lot of stuff that, as time moves on, is going to be announced and shown. So, hopefully a lot of people out there are pleased with that, because, and I think that they will be. I think that I think they trust your judgment, your guys' judgment, in bringing a fair and just system for Commander mode. I know that I'm excited. I want to be a Commander like all the time when I play this game. I actually don't. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty good on the ground, but I just want to shoot some artillery at people. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah.
So now the other thing too is, have you guys just in the process of just talking about the scope of Battlefield 4, what is the one thing that you look at this game and you're thinking to yourself when you see it implemented, when you see it work, or when you put it in there and it started to work, you were just like, that's gonna be the hook right there. What is that hook that you think that is going to attract so many players to play to Battlefield 4?
So I guess I must only speak for myself. I can't really.
So what's your hook? What's
exactly.
your hook?
Let's base this on me. I think what you're seeing right now on the screen with the whole Evolution event that happened, and the fact that we're kind of dynamically changing the environment of the map over time, forcing you to kind of adapt to the situations. It's one of the things that I feel is most impactful and interesting to me as a player.
Okay.
It's kind of what I always wanted the Battlefield to be more like this, and once we finally got in this transition into a different environment.